Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be going to Cape Coast. I'm getting packed. I just packed my cosmetics. I have to go get my toothbrush and put it in. These are what I'm wearing. We're staying today and then we'll sleep over and then we'll come back tomorrow. Yeah, that's what's in there. And then I also have to pack my other things. So yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the post notification bell to be notified every time I post another video. And now let's get started. So I just finished my makeup, so now I'm about to put in my jewelry. I'm excited to go to Cape Coast. I've never been there before. I've seen a lot of vlogs on it. Definitely can't wait to experience those vlogs in real life and share it with you guys. Here we go. Let's go. So guys, we're at Cape Coast and it's really, really beautiful. That's the ocean right there. We just got here. The ride was like 4 hours, but it's not that bad. So yeah. So in this video, I wanted the video to be raw so you guys could really hear and see what happened in the Cape Coast Castle. So I didn't really do much editing, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is the male dungeon under the Cape Coast Castle.
So I'll turn off the light briefly. You see? Yeah.
Oh.
So there was no electricity there, so there was no electricity. The holes you see there was the only way they could determine day and night. And that was the only way they had light and air.
Oh.
About 200 people were kept in this room only. And we have 5 of such rooms. Behind you, we have 4 extra rooms. They could keep about 200 to each. So that amounted to about 1,000 people in the male dungeons.
Wow. They cannot sleep.
Say again?
That means everyone is standing.
Yeah, everybody is standing. Like you were actually squeezed in here. There was 200 people in here. Was quite insane. And one thing you should understand, there was nothing like love, care, or affection for the people they kept here. They were only treated like goods or merchandise. You could spend about 3 months in these dungeons waiting on the ships. And as we all know then, there was nothing like nuclear-powered engines or steamer ships. The journey depended on the current or the direction of the wind. So traveling from West Africa to North America took you about 1 month or more. Coming back to West Africa same. So that's how we are saying that they had to spend about 3 months in these dungeons waiting. And whilst they waited, they did everything in the dungeons. They were giving food and water once or twice a day. They ate here, they drank water right here. And if it was time for you to go to the toilet, or if you had to urinate, you had to do it right here also. And when it was time for you to sleep, you actually slept on your toilet in urine, blood from it. So the time the shapes around it. Yeah, so it looked different because we've not excavated this room. Now we are actually standing on top of all the things they left. We're standing on top of the feces, the urine, the vomit, the blood, the tears, everything they left. Above us was the Church of England, or the Anglican Church. So God was worshipped. We worshipped Jesus upstairs. And while Jesus was worshipped upstairs, people died here, people screamed, and people mourned. We have another thing that they call the spy hole or observation post. Some of the soldiers will come down, stand there, listen, see, or know whatever's going on in the dungeons. Now, interestingly, the entrance of that spy hole is just closer to the entrance of the church. So whoever passed by to worship could smell, could see, and know whatever was going on. Those here also heard what was going on upstairs. realize that this particular room is brighter and about the type of spirituality and religion we had before the Arabs and the Europeans introduced their own to us. It's basically people try to say that the African never knew God. That's a lie and that's a misconception. It's just like anybody who conquered Africa would want to put his own religion on us and trying to demean us from what we had. So we knew God before the Europeans or the Arabs arrived. And this was our concept of God. God created us as human beings. God created all the natural things around us. And the things God created around us could be used as intermediary between man and God. So we had the knowledge and belief that we could communicate to God through the earth, through the stars, moon, and even natural. So before the Europeans occupied this space was a sacred ground for the local people before the Europeans arrived. They communicated to God through the earth. The earth here was known as an oracle or a deity by the name Nanatabi. But when the Europeans arrived, the people of Cape Coast had to relocate. They had to move the shrine away from here. In 1973, this altar was erected, the sacred stones was returned. So till date, whatever needs to be done in accordance to this kind of spirituality, it's done. So that is the importance of the altar. Any questions or comments, please? Ships arrived. They didn't just move all of them into the ships. First of all, they sorted them out, got those who were fit and strong enough to survive the journey. Those who were sick or incapable of surviving were left behind in these dungeons till the last person died. Those ones were near death. Within a day or two, they would die. They would never put them on the ships to die because to them, that space could have been, kept for somebody who was strong enough to survive. After sorting them out, those who were fit or strong enough were chained and shackled. Gradually, the dungeon was emptied. They were moved from the dungeons to a place we call Door of No Return. And from the Door of No Return, they were taken out to the shore. At the shore, they placed them on boats, and gradually they joined the bigger ships. This time around, when the men were leaving the dungeons for the Door of No Return, they didn't go out that way again. You find this wall, ladies and gentlemen, and right behind the wall, the British built a tunnel or a passage. What I'm trying to say is, at some point in time, that end was opened up. In chains and in shackles, all the men were taken through the tunnel towards the Door of No Return. Unfortunately, we cannot go through the tunnel. The entrance and the exit, the British blocked.
Here we go, this one.
When the Africans died in the dungeons and the condemned cells, their remains were thrown into the sea. This is the only Ghanaian or the only African the Europeans buried among them. The name is Philip Kweku. Philip was a native of Cape Coast. He was born in this town around 1741. At the age 11, he had a scholarship to England where he was trained and educated. 1765, he was made a priest in London. He became the first African to become a priest for the Anglican Church. He returned to this place as a teacher, a missionary, and a reverend minister. So up there was the Anglican Church. And we had this situation where an African led an all-European congregation, whilst his fellow Africans were right underneath him in chains and in shackles. On record, he didn't say anything against the slave trade or anything for it. He was part of the people who lived here. Perhaps the British honored him by burying him among them. Now, these are not the only graves, actually. There are others underneath. We excavated the place and we found about a dozen graves, but those graves had no names on them, so we had to cover them up. And also, these are not the only Europeans who died here. A lot of them died. Some kilometers out, they had another cemetery where some of the Europeans were buried. This This is the grave of one Captain George McLean, a Scottish. He once served as a governor here, died around 1847 at the age 46. Beside George, we had a wife. Her name was Letitia Elizabeth London. She died 1838 at the age 36. Some say malaria killed her. Some say she took in poison when she learned that the husband was cheating on her with one African woman. Others also say the African woman the husband had poisoned her. So we don't know the actual cause of Letitia's death. The other one was a soldier by name C.B. Whitehead. He died 1812 at the age 38. So these are the known graves we have at the cemetery. Let me show you a reason why.
C.B. Whitehead.
Pipes to all the roofs, and all the pipes was channeled to this tank. So when it rained, all the water was collected and stored here. Today, we don't store rainwater. Rather, we've added these pipes to it. So with time, we open up the taps, then we fill this with water. So that is the situation here today. All right. I'll tell you why. I'll go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you'll all remember in the dungeons I spoke to you about a tunnel where all the men were taken through to join the women at the door of no return. We are right on top of the tunnel. So when we go down that way, I'm going to show you some part of the tunnel. Then from there, we shall move on to the exit. There are cannonballs behind you. The British brought in these guns and balls to protect or to defend their investment from their fellow competitors. Now, the Europeans started fighting among themselves to have access to good trading posts. Historically, this land changed hands about 5 times. And it didn't just change hands like that. No, you fight, you kill, you defeat, then you take over. So one behind you, ladies and gentlemen, that was the exit of the tunnel. So this side was not blocked also, it was actually opened. On the male dungeons, all the men were here. Okay, so they were made to form fire. So you could have about 4 or 5 fires of people. From here, they were taken out this way. We had another opening from here to the sea. I'm sure the Elizabeth boat and drive when they joined the ships. But the British closed this end. During the high tide, when the sea was rough, some of the water entered. They closed it to avoid the damage to this part of the building. So from the tunnel, the men were taken out that way, and out they turned right towards the door of the return. So from here, we shall visit the female dungeons. I will take you through the door of the return. Sure, return.
Raise your hand.
So this is another dungeon for women. We have this room, we have the other room behind you. About 100 to 200 women were kept in each of these rooms. But note that the conditions in the dungeons was worse for women than men. Because whatever the men endured in the dungeons, the women endured. But the women here had something extra to it. You know, the men never had their menstrual period, but the women had. And when the women here had their menstrual period, they didn't get any clean or proper wash. You can imagine the diseases and infections women were exposed to. Many died as a result of that. It didn't end there. Many of the women here were also victims of rape and sexual assault from the Europeans who lived here. Please, rape continued on the ships. They were still raped on the plantation farms by the Europeans. Even rape on men was also used as a form of mental torture. So this is what, Africans endured. So we have it at the top of the return. This door or this area served as a final exit, but they didn't write anything there. The perception and the idea was that you go through this door, you no return. So you go through those doors, 2 things. You reach those destinations from here, like America, Jamaica, Brazil, Barbados, or you will die on the way. We'll follow their footsteps, but surely we shall all return. In chains and in shackles, all the captives were taken down to the shore. The water there is very shallow, and as a result, the ships had to dock some distance away. At the shore, they placed them on boats and gradually joined the bigger ships. So that is how come we are saying that when you go through this door, you will not return. But I want you to look up again. You'll find another inscription on the door. It says, Door of Return, very symbolic. We had it in 1998. We had a festival by name Emancipation Day. And during the festival, African descendants, Africans, Europeans stole away from here to Europe. They are descendants. Now African Americans, Jamaicans, those in Europe, all over the diaspora, so many of them returned. And for the first time, they returned two human remains or two human skeletons of former slaves who died in Jamaica and America. Their bones was exhumed. Their bones were shipped back to Cape Coast Castle. We had a ceremony for them inside the castle. And after the ceremony, the two remains were buried 60 kilometers away from here at a town we call Asen Manso. So since then, every 1st of August, we celebrate Emancipation Day in Ghana. That is the reason behind door. We're going to have a look at the condenser. All the rooms you see there were storerooms. All right, let's come inside, please. Wash your hands. Because those are pilots in work.
It's original door. Yeah, this one is new. This one is good.
This one is Palaver Hall, Trouble Hall, Noise Hall. This room was a slave market. So they did the buying and selling of captives here. So here the British merchant waited to be supplied with slaves. So we can also see for a fact that the African did not really understand the true meaning of the Europeans' transatlantic slave trade. Because note, it wasn't the African who introduced or invented the transatlantic slave trade. Rather, it was the Europeans who invented it. Alright. So I want to show you the fort on that here. Can you all see it? The white one with a small red top. So that is Fort William. Fort William was constructed by the British to protect this building from any attack. You see, the Europeans were giving themselves surprise attacks. And perhaps the British wanted none of that. So they built that fort to check any attack. It's simple. When you go up on the fort,
The breeze here is so nice.
after the defeat of the Ashantis around 1874, now it happened that the British controlled this country. So from that time onwards, officially, Cape Coast now served as Ghana's first capital city. Again, Cape Coast Castle officially served as the seat of government for the British. So the British government lived here. This was a sitting room.
Yeah, because you get all the breeze.
Exactly. The very good here. Let's see the very good here. Right.
Like a dungeon.
Alright, and on 19th March 1877, the British removed the capital from Cape Coast to Accra. So 19th March 1877, Cape Coast was no more the capital city of this country. And 6th March 1957, we had our independence from the British. And interestingly, Ghana became the first country in Black Africa to gain its independence from a colonial oppressor. I don't want to use the power, colonial oppressor. Now the children's like, all right, let's end the talk down to the front. That nobody should suffer like that again. Let us put that ourselves. And it's not as if we are treating ourselves better as human beings. Once again, my name is Justice Aqua. I hope you had a great time. Thank you very much for being here.
Hello.
Oh, this is nice too.
I even heard that.
That one is, I think it's 100 years.
So we finished the view from the Cape Coast Castle, so now we are going to eat. So we went to a hotel. This is the next day, and we're going to Elmina Cocoon Park. So let's go.
Political party. You know what? Until the society, society at the compete with them political parties. Yes, you also one then. So you do the other societies. So you go to the home one general political party.
We are here. We just wanted to make a stop. That's why we stopped the car. but we made a stop at the beach. And we literally just started taking pictures, and we were just like, well, I was standing in the water. Not like full weight because I'm still dry, but it was really, really fun. We're going to pick up seashells, so let's go. Let's pick up seashells. We're at Cocoon Park. Wow.
Morning activities.
Hey guys, so it is actually the week after and we are about to leave tomorrow. Yeah, we got some cocoa. This is my friend. Do you want to be in the video?
Is that?
Do you want to be in the video?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, so we got cocoa, and when we went to Cape Coast, we tried it. It's very tropical over there. They have like a lot of fruits. First, we tried it, and I didn't know how to eat it, so I bit into the seed. Found out that you don't have to. You have to like suck around it, pause, and that's when you spit out the seed. That's really, really cool. So that is my Cape Coast vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace. Say peace.